Hi. Let everybody get into the room. We're most likely going to start 10 minutes in. So go on ahead, grab your drinks. I've got my water. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I think I'm going to wear glasses because I'm tired of squinting when talking to you guys. Hello. Oh, 2 people. Amsterdam. Hi. Sunday evening wind down with Wah. Thank you so much, Amsterdam. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. Brenda. Hola. Hola, hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás? People don't know what to do. They're like, she's going live so much. Okay. Like, do I join this one? What time is it? It's 3. So 4, 5, 6. It's 6 New York time. And then 5 hours is Greenwich Mean Time. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's like, oh, it's 11 p.m. Whew. In the Europes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's 11 p.m. in the Europes. Yeah, you guys definitely should do the notifications. Love seeing your hair. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's too hot for a wig at this moment. It's too hot. All right. Put everything on Do Not Disturb It. Because this would be the time everybody wants to say hi, ask me questions. Dupe. Dupe, dupe, dupe. Let me tell Instagram I'm live. Come join me. I'm live on YouTube. 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 It's just going to keep. Let me take it off mute. Come join me. I'm live on YouTube. All right, 3 minutes in, 19 people in the room. Just waiting for everybody to come in. Hi, Connie. Hi, Shamika. Oh, Guyana's in the house. I think Italy's in the house too. Hi, Wa. This is my 3rd live I caught in 4 days. Never caught your lives before, only replays. I'm just doing it at the exact right moments for you, Gigi, for you to get this experience. So have you guys watched the episode? I'm gonna put it on mute after both my notes, but tell me, did you watch the episode? It's on right now. It's on Discovery Plus. If you haven't, you should. It was a good episode. Say Martine. Do you say Caribbean or do you say Caribbean? Because I say Caribbean, but then when I also say Caribbean. I think it depends. I always feel like it's Pirates of the Caribbean, but then you go to the Caribbean. Give this video a thumbs up, you guys, as you enter the building. Oh, and tell me, you guys, what you're watching. Somebody asked me what I was watching. You guys need to tell me what you're watching. Supernatural. Hi. Caribbean. Not the pirates. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, you guys. I would super appreciate it. We want to get the people out there. I wonder if I have it tagged #Vacation Bay. Yeah, I do. I have a Discovery Plus. I have a 90 Day Fiance. I have a 90 Day Vacation Bay. Great. I really wish they would call it 90 Day Vacation Bay. I mean, I know they can't, but like, it's better than Lost Love in Paradise. They had to add the Caribbean onto it because there is a Love in Paradise movie or something. Hi, Tiana. Welcome to the room. Waiting, Ritza, waiting for 8 p.m. for 90 Day, watching from Miami. Hello. So here's a little intro, just a little bit of dip into the 90 Day Fiance world from watching, sorry, trying to get, there it is. From watching, hey, I have a question. So I was on Instagram, and speaking of 90 Day Fiance, and 90 Day The Melanated Way posted this video of Mike and Natalie in a confessional, and Mike and Natalie does a speakerphone with Trish. And basically they both read her to filth. And like, at first I was like, oh, this sucks that they're ganging up on her. But then I was like, no, Natalie has done too much. And it seems like it's not producer led. She's done too much for her to get away with any more bad behavior. So, Katrina, yeah, first time commenting. Hello, where are you from? Welcome, thank you for commenting. I can't watch Handmaid's Tale. It gives me anxiety. I tried to read the book 3 times, couldn't get into it. Then I watched the movie and I was just like, oh, hell no. Everything that was happening, I was like, oh, hell no. As soon as my bank account was closed, I'm leaving. Like, you know what it is? It's because I just, all these, I don't, it would, as a Black person, when I see the tides changing and I feel like I am just automatically suspect. Like, I was like, why are there any Black people still in this area? How did people recognize? I mean, I guess you just feel real comfortable in your country as an American, you know what I'm saying, to see things happening and think that anything would ever be good for you. I would have left for Canada immediately. Immediately, I would have left. I'm not staying here. I mean, even if you just go for a little bit, maybe you don't know if things are about to go down, but you just go for a little bit. And like, and then if everything's cool, then you come back. But what's the harm in just going to Canada real quick and seeing what's up there? Anyways, I'm from the Bronx and my husband is currently stationed in North Carolina. Oh, okay. I lived in Co-op City for a little bit. I had to take the 6 train because, you know, none of the other trains go to Co-op City. But I lived in Co-op City for about 10 months when I first moved to New York. Mickey, you again. Rude. Yeah, so anyways, I can't watch Handmaid's Tale. It just seems like such a crazy fantasy that is like based in reality, but like there's no magic. So I'm just like, no, this is a crazy situation. Why would anybody allow this to happen to them? So we got 1 more minute and then I'm going to start because then we're at 10 minutes in. Ramsey says, yes, I used to think that too, but it's a lot harder than you think leaving your country. Listen, I'm not saying you pack up everything. I'm saying you see shit getting weird. You just go for a little bit. I mean, I guess, but listen, you know what? Honestly, it's because I'm Black. It's because I'm Black and I've read a lot of history books and I know what this country does to Black people. Like, so I would not stay. I mean, we got weirded out when the coronavirus first started. Like, I was like, should I get a gun? Because if these folks is going to be out in the streets wilding, I need to protect myself. You think I trust this country? Absolutely not, girl. Oh, yeah, it does. The Bronx, absolutely. All right, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of Love in Paradise, the Caribbean, a 90-day story. Hashtag 90-day vacation bay. This is season 1, episode 2, Sex on the Beach. All right, you guys. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because you know you're going to like all the commentary, and share this video on any social media platform that you deem fit. The first couple that we are going to talk about today, well, let's just talk about the couples real quick. So we've got, let me try this again. We've got 25-year-old Ariana and 35-year-old Sherlin. And then we've got 26-year-old Martine and 31-year-old Steven. And then we've got 36-year-old Kay, and we've got 39-year-old Mark, and we've got 23-year-old Daniel, and we've got 30-year-old Amber. Daniel's from Costa Rica, aka also Venezuela. Amber's American. Mark is the American. Kay is the Buenos Aires, the Argentinian slash Costa Rican. Then we've got Steven as the Barbados guy, and then we've got Sherlin as the American. Okay, so we're all caught up, right? These are the 4 couples that we're dealing with. So far, it's just 4, and it is an absolute blessing because we don't need no more. Okay, so first we're going to start talking about Mark and Kay because I wanted to give Mark the benefit of the doubt. I really did, and assumed that he was just being dumb as a youngin' for not learning how to speak Spanish. But it turns out this man doesn't want to learn Spanish at all. He doesn't even want to talk about it. And he's like, I just got here. Let's calm down. I don't understand that. I don't understand that sentiment where people are like, I just got here. Do we have to talk about heavy things already? I'm like, no, you came here for a heavy thing. You came here for a heavy situation. So this girl is asking you, now that I speak a little bit more English, it would be helpful if you would be willing to open yourself up to learn some more Spanish. But anyways, let's go from the beginning. So the beginning, we have Kay getting ready, and she's nervous. Girl, she's got on the cutest little black bralette, okay? Lace bralette, it was cute. And she's getting ready, and she's very nervous to see Mark because it's been 10 years since she's seen him. And she's like, it was completely on a whim. Like during the pandemic, she was going through some pictures, and she saw and found a picture of her and Mark, and she was like, oh my God, Mark, what the hell is he up to? So she reaches out to him, and they've just been starting to talk. And because now she speaks more English, their conversation is so much better, because before it was all about body, yaddy, yaddy, and, eking it through. And I'm like, 10 years ago, were the translation apps like that good back then? Probably not. So they start to talk again, and he decides to come to Costa Rica to convince her to move back to the US with him, so that, he says that he let her get away one time and he wasn't going to let her get away again. And I'm just like, okay. So he gets there, he's nervous, she's nervous, they see each other, she jumps on him, they kiss, it's a good time. And let me get my notes, I'm sorry. And she is like having the hardest time, think, thought, and imagine, which I was like, girl, you're better than me. Her English is better than my Spanish. And maybe I don't know, girl. Like, I'm so happy for her because I wish I could speak more Spanish. So they go back to her apartment, and Mark says this time is different because the last time she was actually a tourist and he was living in Costa Rica. And now he's the tourist and she is stationed and living in Costa Rica as well. And so he's just really happy to be back to Bocas. And he's like looking at different things like, oh, is that still over there? If this is still here? And she's like, no, the city has changed. They get to her apartment, and she's like, let me just be straight up with you. I like my things where I put them, and I like my things put where I put them. So don't move my stuff. And he's like, oh, okay. And then they go into the shower and have sex. And she's talking about wanting to live in the moment because she says you never know where life is going to take you. And it's all about living in the moment. And she hopes that Mark will live in the moment as well. And she says that she knows that he's going to want to share his life with her, and that he's going to want that from her. But she doesn't know what that means, what that looks like, and if something that she will be able to do, and that they need to have those conversations because they do have feelings for one another, but sharing the life is a completely different thing, which is so interesting to me because I can love someone and it be platonic. But if I am in love with someone, which I think Mark is in love with her, And I guess she's not in love with him, but she does get some kind of feelings when she thinks of him. It's just so interesting to me. The rules of their relationship really need to be like set up. And it's, you know, because we're in a heteronormative, monogamous, like, you know, society, I just don't have any understanding of her perspective. And I'm really interested in understanding that. Just how you could be so how you could just be so fly by the seat of my pants. And then, like, I think, what does she think is going to happen when she gets old? Is she just going to be okay with going into old people's home? That's the one thing. Like, I'm okay being isolated and alone when I'm able-bodied. When I'm older, I know I'm not going to want to be alone. And if I'm like, can't walk or can't do stuff, like, I don't want to be in an old folks home. I want someone to take care of me. I want to live in my house until I die. I just think of that. I get like, whew. Hey, JW, welcome to the room. Okay, so she's and him go out to eat. He shows her how to skateboard, which is such a cute little thing. And they sit down and they order a tangerine margarita, which doesn't come for like 45 minutes. But they order a tangerine margarita. And she says, now that you're here, this is a good opportunity for you to learn Spanish because I want to be able to express myself to you better. And now that I speak a little bit more English, like it'll be easier for both of us to learn each other's language. Like I could teach you Spanish, you could teach me English, like, you know, fine. And he's just like, whoa, I just got here. Whoa, like that's heavy. And I'm like, why is that a heavy conversation? It's a yes or a no. And she's like, I don't understand. Like, you say you love me and you say you want this life for us together. At least that's what I'm assuming. And you don't want to learn my language to make it easier for me to communicate. All of the burden is put on me to learn English. The caucasity, the audacity of this American to go over there and be that way. It bothers me. And I know it's such a small thing, but to me, it leaks over into other aspects. Now, unless Mark says, like, I really feel very stupid learning this language, I'm never going to be able to speak it correctly. I have a learning disability and I'm not going to be able to learn Spanish because of said disability, then I could see that. But otherwise, you have no excuse and you just being selfish. All right. So the next couple that we are going to move on and talk about, let's talk about Stephen and Martine. So this was a pretty heavy one for them as well, because it turns out that Stephen wasn't necessarily aware that Martine was thinking about having anything serious with him, even though he says that he hasn't considered himself single. So I don't quite know what their relationship is either. She called, so the first scene we have with them is them after they've left the bar, after this girl has flirted with them. And they're in the car and Martine's like, these hoes want to be all on you, X, Y, and Z, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And he's like, listen, I'm a personable, entertaining guy. That's what I do. It is my job. And I feel like, you know what, to a certain extent, he is a celebrity. And if a girl's going to come up to him and flirt with him, it's not his job to make her feel terrible, but it is his job to be amiable and then make his woman feel comfortable. Like, I think that's the way he has to manage it. Because it's really hard when you have that kind of celebrity to just be like, you know, like, don't flirt with me in front of my wife, you know, or my girlfriend or whatever. Like, he has to kind of just roll with the flow. Roll with the flow. Flow with the roll? Roll with the flow. No, it is? Yeah, roll with the flow. So she says that he's too approachable and too entertaining. And she's like, listen, that's what it is. So they get back to the hotel, and then there's a whole hot tub scene that we did not need. The only thing I was like, oh, I want to kiss big lips. There was, you know, she was winding it up on him, and it was a scene we didn't need. But they love to show butts on this show. So I think that's where we're at. So the next day they have breakfast on the veranda. And she says that the first 2 years with Mark were fun. She was going to college. She was upstate New York. It was cold. And she would go to Barbados as like a release. And so when she was in school and things weren't serious, it was fine. But the last year or so, she's been feeling like she wants something more serious. So then I get confused because I was like, if he cheated on you a year into your relationship when things weren't serious and you were okay with just having a fun time with your vacation bae, why was his cheating? Why did it hurt you so much? Why do you have trust issues? So it's very interesting. It's very confusing as an audience member for me to hear them both say, we're not single, we're together. but I didn't know you wanted to take the relationship to the next level. So where exactly are you guys? So anyways, she says as in a year ago, she's really wanted this thing to become serious. So then my thought is, why are you mad about him cheating a year into your relationship? But okay. So after year 2, she wanted this situation to get serious. And I guess it never did, because all they ever did was have fun and party. And now she's like, I want something serious. And he's like, well, you've been thinking about this. You've been ruminating on this. And you haven't included me in these conversations, any thoughts. And all of a sudden now you're giving me an ultimatum, telling me that I need to make the choice to put a ring on it, or you want to break up, which is weird because we've never discussed, like, I'm not single, but I don't know, are they monogamous? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get what their relationship is. She says that when her life was in flux, it was okay. But now she's living in Miami. She's a little bit more settled and she wants to take it to the next level. She tells him that if he wanted to move to Miami, she had a place for him to come and stay. And he says, well, that's selfish. I can't just move to Miami. You know, I have a daughter. And she's like, well, you've had the last 3 years to think about that. And then again, I need clarification, because if they were just vacation bays, when did they become monogamous? When did they become not single, except for when they were together? When was he supposed to start thinking about bringing his daughter to the US, which is a big deal? You know, like, it's very confusing. So now I'm pretty positive that their storyline is produced. There is some production happening somewhere. So it's frustrating because now I can't really give a good, I can't give a good like opinion on it, because it's not real, or at least parts of it is not real. Did he know that she wanted to move to the next level or not? Did she tell him that since you're my boyfriend, it's confusing. It's just confusing at this point. Okay. Yeah. So what happens after that? We see some scenes with her and the daughter. So she does know his daughter. They have a decent relationship. And then we see some manipulation of him through his daughter previewed for next week's episode. So I think I'm not going to like them. And that's unfortunate. Okay. Does anyone have anything to say about Martine? You guys can jump in at any time, because I'm going quick. We're almost done. All right, so the next couple that we are going to talk about, let me get my picture ready, is Amber and Daniel. Okay, so Amber is very excited to see Daniel. Again, she's 30, he's 23. She's from Florida. He is from Venezuela, but he currently lives in Costa Rica. He doesn't have a job, or he just got his job back. And he's got some secrets to tell her, because and he knows she's going to be pissed. So Amber has her sister drop her off at the airport. She's nervous the whole time because she says that she misses him, she loves him, and it's been a year, right? She just needs someone to touch her, to hold her, and to love her, right? But at the same time, this is a different type of trip, because every time she's seen Daniel prior to this, it's been about the vacation. It's been about the fast, like, lovemaking and the vacation, just the like levity of it is all very bright and happy. But this time she feels like she's going there for business, and he's not going to get the same Amber. And she feels bad that that's his experience. But unfortunately, she needs to know if he can handle her in the real world. And right now it seems like he can't, because remember, he hasn't done anything that he's supposed to do for this K1 visa. She's been paying for all this stuff. And here's the truth. If you start this process, I'm sure you pay stuff up front. You don't get that money back. So she's been paying for stuff and then sending him money. She's going to lose it on that money if he doesn't do what he needs to do. Mickey says, vacations are a catalyst. To have what adds up to a week together would take you a month in real life at home. Soraya says, if Martinez's storyline is true, or Martine's storyline is true, then she just wants her man and isn't concerned about his past, aka his child. Whew. Mickey says, and you only bring yourself to the table. No job, no stresses, like being in high school. Absolutely, girl. Okay, so she's very nervous about this, but she says this has to happen. Meanwhile, we have Daniel, who's nervous as well, because he is like, I have to tell her something. She's going to be very mad at me. And I want to make things special for her. So I'm going to clean up. I'm going to do all the things I need to do. So he gets into a cab and he's talking to the cabbie. The cabbie's being a really good sport for being on TV. Having all those, asking all those questions, which is what needs to happen in all of these reality shows. You have to have like no one gives, sorry. Premature ejaculation. So Soraya says that Amber's crying too much for her. 30 versus 30, a lot. Yeah, is very different. Very, very different. So she arrives. They have a very heartfelt reunion. She's like, listen, I'm not even mad at him anymore. How can I be mad? I'm in Costa Rica. Everything is great. Like, whatever. I'm not mad. Who cares? And so she's like, I'm going to have sex tonight. So she's very excited to have sex with him, which, I would be too. And they get to his apartment and they have a timeout on the beach where he gives her flowers. They have wine. They watch the sunset. And he really did set this up for her and she's loving it. Then they go back to his apartment and do the boom boom. The next morning, she wakes up sore and satisfied. He gets up and he makes her breakfast, but he's very nervous about what he has to tell her. So I'm thinking he's going to tell her that he's got a kid or he got somebody pregnant, or I didn't know what this man was going to say. So they go out and sit in front and she's just like, oh my God, being outside is so much better. I could never move to Costa Rica because I need air conditioning. And I was like, girl, if I can get air conditioning in Belize and Guatemala, you could definitely get air conditioning in Costa Rica. So the fact that he doesn't have air conditioning is a choice. It's a choice. And she's like, and the bugs couldn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, mosquitoes eat me alive in these countries. So I understand it. And he then tells her that he quit his job. And she's like taken aback. And she's like, I don't understand why you quit your job. And he's like, because you told me I needed to go to get my papers and I can't work and do that. My job is not going to just let me go and do stuff, And I understand that. And then she's like, so where are the papers then? And he's like, I haven't gone yet. And she's like, well, then I don't understand. Why would you quit before you have made the decision to get on the bus to go where I need to go? I don't know what he thought. See, I would have to break up with him. I've had too many experiences with people in general, not just men, but people in general who do that, who say they're going to do something and then don't do it. And then when I'm mad at them, they're like confused. They don't quite understand why I'm upset. Oh my God, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much, Connie. I appreciate that. Thank you. And it bothers me. Like, listen, especially because I don't even put constraints on people. I personally say, hey, what time are you going to be able to get this thing done? And they tell me 3. Then 3 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, where's this thing? And they're like, oh, I wasn't able to do it. And then I'm mad and they're like, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't understand why you're mad. Because you said it. I didn't tell you. You could have said, I won't be able to get it done. You could have said, I'm not sure. You could have said anything but given me a solid time. Once you give me a time, you are committing to that. And I'm expecting it. I'm sorry. That's just the way I was built. That is just the way I was built. I can't do it any other way. So for me, you need to know that you need to be honest. Don't tell me what you think you might be able to do. Tell me what you know you're going to commit to doing. And then do it. And then if you're unable to do it because unforeseen circumstances do arise, I need you to tell me before I come to you and ask you for it. As soon as you realize you're not going to be able to have this thing done at 3, I need you to say, I'm not going to be able to have that thing done at 3. It better not be 2:45 when you tell me that. It should at least be 1, because at 1 p.m., you know you're not going to be able to get that thing done at 3. In fact, if you knew something was due at 3, then you should be in your car at 10 a.m. driving to wherever you need to go to get that thing so that it's at least ready by 1:30. Anyways, that is just the way my brain works. I cannot. And listen, if I tell you I'm going to get something done, I get it done. I am very good at time management. I don't understand how people are not. Like, I know sometimes I start these lives a little late, but like, it's only because I'm dreading putting on makeup, and then I get to put on makeup and I stand there for too long. Woo, girl, tell me before I come calling you, and then the excuses, I cannot. Like, that literally makes me want to fight people. And nothing in my spirit boils me over more than you not upholding a commitment that you set. And then the responses is, well, you made me nervous, or I felt like I had to tell you something. And I was like, so disappointing me is better? I literally just want to be punching people. Ooh, I will hit you. And especially somebody who I'm supposed to be in a relationship with, and we're supposed to depend on each other, and I can't depend on you to even be honest with what your capabilities are. Oh, I hate it when people try to tell. I like, listen, I'm gonna get here cussing, because I hate it so much when people are so delusional about who they are and what it is that they can actually do in this world, and they promise all this shit and they can't do it. And then they look at me like I'm wrong for expecting them to do the thing that they said they can do. I didn't tell you to say you could do that. You should tell me you can't do anything. Tell me you don't know how to do anything. Tell me you don't know how to pick up your hand and write. Tell me you don't know how to phone. Tell me you don't have a phone. Okay? Tell me you're blind so that I don't expect anything. But don't tell me you can see, you have 20/20, and also you have a VR. Don't tell me that, because then I'm not supposed you to do it. Period. It's like what's his name? Jorge, George, and Anfisa. I understand why he hit her, and I'm not saying that she should have hit him. Not he hit her. I understand why she hit him. I understand why she keyed his car. I understand that, because you made promises for no reason. No one told you to say yes when you know you couldn't do it, or there was a slight chance you couldn't do it, or you had every intention to do it, and then as soon as you realized you were not going to be able to do it, you needed to tell me. Oh, girl, I'm getting fire in my chest just thinking about it. Just thinking about it. Oh, you're a people pleaser at work? Yeah, that's even worse. At work, that's even worse. I will write a letter. I will write a strongly worded email and BCC people on it. You won't even know. I will attach the conversation in which we had, saying that you were going to be able to get something done. Anytime I talk to anybody and I go, oh, you said you're going to get this done, I then send them an instant message through our system, like our pinging system. And I'm like, as per our conversation, you stated that you were going to be able to get this thing done at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Great. And then when they don't get it done, girl, I'm petty. I am petty. I will CC their manager, attach the conversation in which they stated that they would able to get this thing done, take a screenshot of the thing that didn't get done. Oh, I cannot. Don't try to please me. Just be honest. Ooh, what is time dyslexia? I have time dyslexia. A boyfriend was sauntering late for dinner at my place, and I stuck my head out of the sliding glass door and told him to go home. Oh, girl, I can't. My brother does this to me all the time, and he's like, man, well, I was going to do it, but then I didn't. And I'm like, how do you not? Gosh, listen, I don't ever run up the last minute to do anything. If I know something is due at 3, I've got it done the day before. My coworker is the exact same way. I tell her it's a sickness. Her procrastination is a sickness. I'll be like, we need to do this. And she's like, oh, we'll do it. Don't worry, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm like, no, you're not, girl. And she's like, don't tell me I'm not going to do it. We just go back and forth. And I'm like, girl, you're not going to do it, okay? You're not going to do it. Something's going to happen. And she's like, man. And then every time it would happen, I'm like, Kat, did I not tell you? Did I not tell you? And she's like, first of all, I'm grown. I'm like, okay. And so usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of like do it for her so that at least something is done. So when it's due, I'm like, oh, here, I did this for you. And she gives me side eye. She's like, thank you. I'm like, yeah, because I know you got a sickness, and I know that you can't, like, You just think you can do everything and you can't. There's only so many hours in a day. You got to go home to that baby, girl. I don't know why you acting like you can get all this stuff done. You cannot. Stop telling these people yes. Anyways. Supernatural says, I'm dying. I'm the same way. Petty at work. You're not going to make me look bad because you can't. Oh, shoot. I will have receipts for days. I don't delete no emails. Everything gets archived. Oh, Quasi says, I was late to a meeting for a friend 15 minutes. I was late. I was late meeting a friend for lunch, and 15 minutes late, she wanted to call the cops. Traffic, weather, extreme. Listen, for me, it's more so like, 30 minutes before something is due that you're not going to be able to do it. You know it, unless literally you get into a car accident on the way, or all of a sudden that thing is not. Girl. I can't. I cannot. That's good of you. My bestie at work used to do that for me all the time, but we don't work together anymore. I'm embarrassed to say, for me, time is divided into now and not now. Oh. What an interesting insight into that. Thank you. Now and not now. Things are not divided into things like that for me. For me, it's like everything is linear and things are due. And if it's kind of like it's kind of like your bank account, like when I pay bills. Right now I've messed myself up, so I'm paying them right on time. But normally what I do, like let's say I used to get paid twice a month. Now I get paid weekly, which ruined my whole life. So and you think it would be easier, girl, it's not. So what I would do is if I got a check, let's say the first week in the month, let's say I got a check the first week of July, I would pay the bills that were due after the 15th with that check. And then when I got the next check, I would pay the bills that are due the first 2 weeks of, so I was always a week ahead or like 2 weeks ahead. So in case something happened where I like couldn't afford to, or I had to do something emergency happened and I ran short, I still had the next paycheck to pay that bill. My dad was being tested for dementia and I was asked if he had an appointment at 9 and it took half an hour. When would he have to leave? My dad was being tested for dementia and was asked if he had an appointment at 9 and it took an hour. When would he have to leave? He said 8 and got it wrong. I asked him in the car how he could get it wrong. He said, you leave time for traffic. Yeah. You do. And very much I'll get here when I get there, friend. LOL, fashionably late, whenever you want to call it. Oh, I'll get there when I get there. But what if it's like a dinner? And what if people are waiting for you? Because like, I need to eat, girl. I mean, I love hearing these things because I think of things so linearly and particularly so that I don't end up having like a crazy ass life because I can't have chaos. And in order for me to not have chaos is to create order and to create a buffer. So like, even when I'm going to get I hate having an appointment to get my nails done. Because to me, getting my nails done isn't the most important thing ever. And I don't want to be there early and wait. Like, it's one of those things I don't want to be there early and wait. I want to get there on time and I want to be seated right away. So oftentimes I'm always a little late because I am like, oh, I'll just leave 30 minutes early. And then it's like, 2 minutes of traffic and then the light ran extra long. So I get mad at myself when I'm not there on time. So then I end up having to leave early, but I hate sitting there and waiting. Oh, hate it. It's always weird. It's like you leave early in order to not be late for something, but then you get there too early and then you're just sitting there and it's annoying. It depends on how important it is and who's attending and the time of your arrival. Oh, you're right. If I'm not bringing anything, then yeah. Someone's like, if someone says to me, I'm having a party, come through, I'm like, around what time? They're like, okay, whatever, like come at 8 or 9. I'm like, cool. Then I know it doesn't matter. But if somebody sends me an invitation and it says 8 p.m., you better not waste my time having me there at 8 p.m., ma'am, and it doesn't start. We have friends that have other friends and they'll invite you to their party that you don't want to talk to. Yeah, I get that. I 100% get that. Anyways, so Daniel does not have these items, okay? And she calls it like it is. She says, so why aren't you on the bus right now? He's like, ooh, and she's like, she doesn't understand how hard it is. And I'm thinking to myself, it's not that it's hard, it's just that it's long. Like, I don't know where the capital is, but like I've taken the bus to the capital, like Belmopan in Belize, and it was a 6-hour hot ass bus ride. And this wasn't like an express bus. Okay. This bus stopped every, I don't know how often, to pick up school children. So I get it. When you're in a country that doesn't have the same kind of like transportation infrastructure, the way like maybe the States does, or you can't just hop in a car and get somebody to drive you 11 hours to the capital, or you can't make an appointment online or call them and say, hey, I'd like to make an appointment to meet with somebody because I need to because he's born in Venezuela. So he has to get his paperwork from Venezuela, his birth certificate. So I'm just like, how did you just move to Costa Rica? So it's a lot that this boy has to do because he's not in his country of origin. And like I said, it is a lot to get your birth certificate and stuff. Like you have to make a concerted effort to do so. And if you're not in school, like I have cousins, I have people in Central America, so I kind of get it a little bit. Like there are some people who have their birth certificates, who have certain documentation, and that's because they went into school, like higher education school. So they had to have it. So they got it, and now they have it. But then I have other family members who are like, don't have their birth certificate because they didn't have a reason to actually go and get it. And it is a bit of a business, but like, it's not as slow as Daniel was making it seem. Like if he needed to quit his job to go do that, then like, when did he quit his job? Exactly. Why isn't he on the bus to go do so? Why didn't he just tell her, no job. We don't have PTO here. We don't have time off. We can't just go somewhere and get something, Like I could, if I needed my birth certificate and I needed to go to Sacramento to get it, I could take 2 days off of work because you naturally have 2 days off of work and just go up there and come back. But I know somebody who works and they work 7 days a week. Like they might get a day off, but you just don't get time off in other countries. So he's right about that, but he's also wrong for not telling her that. But at the same time, I don't know that he knows or understands that in the States, you typically get 2 days off of work if you only have one job and you work a full-time job, 40 hours. And so you do have time to do stuff, and you do have usually some kind of time off option if you're working full-time, be it paid or not paid, to go and get stuff done. And that is something that I think as Americans, we don't understand, that in other countries, they don't have that. Like sometimes you don't work on a Sunday, or sometimes you go to work at the beginning of the day, and then you don't go to work for 3 hours because it's too hot, and then you come back for the evening. But a lot of times it isn't just like a 7-day work week. I mean, a 5-day work week. It's more than that. So there's that. He's not in any rush. Daniel explained that they are very relaxed and Americans are too stressed. Yes, but because it's stressful to be in the States. So get on it. I don't know. Sounds a bit fishy. I'm telling you, Mickey, it sounds fishy, but it really honestly isn't. Like sometimes, yeah, you don't work on a Saturday, but like a lot of times you do. Like I have family members who be going to work at all time. I'm like, you don't have Sunday, Monday off, or you don't have 2 days off? They're like, no, I have 1 day off. And do you want to spend that 1 day? Can you spend that 1 day? And is your 1 day a Sunday? And is there a bus on a Sunday? You know what I'm saying? So maybe he did have to quit his job. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know that. I don't know that to be true, sis. I don't know that to be true. So Amber is just really frustrated with him because she says that she's always been the tomboy, and she's always been the person who has had to kind of hold everybody up. And she, for once, wants to be the pretty girl who someone is willing to take care of. That she's had to do all this paperwork, and that, in the beginning, he made her feel like a woman, but now he doesn't feel like a woman. She doesn't feel like a woman. And I felt that. And I was like, girl, you need to not be with a 23-year-old if you want to be made to feel like a woman. That is the cold, hard, honest truth. You're choosing a foreign 23-year-old boy. I mean, sure, he moved from Venezuela to Costa Rica. But that doesn't mean he's a full-grown man. My lips are dry. Okay. He couldn't be that valuable at work and be able to quit so easy. I'm sure he worked at like a resort or something. You know, easy come, easy go. Okay, so let's move on to our last couple. Girl, Ariana and Sherlin. Again, Ariana's ridiculous. So Ariana and her mother and her two sisters get to Jamaica. And let me just tell you right now that I understand why she wanted her family to meet him. And she wanted her family to come with her to Jamaica for this. Because they wanted to meet him before they had the baby. The baby. The problem is that Ariana is young. Things are awkward between her and Sherlin because they don't really know each other. She referred to him as her boyfriend. That man is not your boyfriend. You spent all of 2 weeks with him. And you're 25, dealing with a 35-year-old womanizer from Jamaica who you got pregnant with like 2 days of knowing him. He's not your boyfriend, sis. No, y'all haven't had any real conversations. The fact is that you don't know. You want to talk to him about him moving to the U.S. The fact is that you haven't had that conversation with him yet, which is crazy. It's crazy that you haven't had that conversation with him about him moving to the U.S. when that's what you want him to do. Sorry, my lips are really dry. That's not her boyfriend, okay? It's like she's a teenager and she is like got her first boyfriend. And I think that's what might be going on. I honestly think the fact that she's had like relatively, low self-esteem and it seems like some sort of body dysmorphia and bad self-image most of her life has led her to this place that she's at now, where she's gone to a country, jumped on the first man who's given her and made her feel sexy and given her any kind of affection, got pregnant, Kalani, and is now stuck in this situation with this person. Okay. So she hasn't even had any hard-hitting conversations with him over the phone. To the point where she lands, they get to the hotel. We find out Jamaica has a very strict curfew. They haven't seen each other in 6 months. So she's only, 6 months pregnant? Maybe 7 months? She's hoping to convince him to come to the U.S. She's nervous. He's working, so he can't pick her and her family up from the airport. They get to the hotel. I already said there's a 7 p.m. curfew. They get down to the water beach. They get down to the beach, and she just WhatsApps him and is like, hey, we're here. We see your parents, your father's boat. He's like, okay, I'm coming. So he comes and he meets the four of them on the beach. Immediately, one of the sisters is like, do you have any other kids by tourists that you want to mention? And he's like, ha, 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 no. She goes up to give him a hug, and it is awkward for her because she doesn't know what to do because she hasn't had any real conversation with him. And he's not planning on being with this girl. So he's just like, I wasn't supposed to see you again. And also, now that I am seeing you again, this isn't fun, fun, boom, boom time. So he's a little awkward too. He's also not doing what he needs to do to make her feel comfortable. But at the same time, it's like, girl, you need to step up to the plate because all the conversation they've been having have been all fluffy. She even says, I just got here. I don't want to have any hard-hitting conversations with him. So then, sis, why is your family around you? Why do you have them here? They should not be here with you. I understand why they are, but they shouldn't be here with you. That's mistake number one. Because you're awkward in front of them because this is your dirty little secret. You over here raw dogging it in Jamaica. And this is the outcome in the person. So her mother is like, hi, nice to meet you. Karen starts to cry because she's just like, this is hard for everyone. And her sisters are not being gracious at all. They're coming for him as though you know what it is? I honestly do not think he is to blame. I don't think that Ariana is necessarily to blame too, as either. I think they're both to blame, but the sisters are making it seem like, I guess because he's older and I guess he should quote unquote know better, but this is what he does is fuck tourists. So like, and if he does have kids out there, guess what? The mamas ain't like, hey, random Sherlin guy, be my boyfriend. Help me take care of these kids. They're like, fuck, I fucked up in Jamaica. Well, have this baby now. So it's just like, it's bananas. Now, if she had been talking to Sherlin for a year and they'd had established a relationship, if she had a closer relationship to him than maybe she has no kind of real relationship with him, and because she's young and has body images and low self-esteem problems, she has not had those hard conversations. And the reason why I know that is because I was 25 once too. And at 25, unless your parents kicked you out of the house and you were made to fend for yourself, you don't know too much about anything. So like, the next day, she says it's awkward. She doesn't know how to feel. She doesn't feel pretty at all. And that he didn't like run to her and hug her. And again, the family's like, he didn't do this. He didn't do that. I'm like, because they don't really know each other. They're not really in a relationship. She didn't do any of those things either. I mean, listen, if Darcy had been there, Darcy would have hugged him like they had been together for the 5 years. The reason why I mentioned Darcy is because I watched Darcy and Stacey after I finished watching this episode. So it's fresh in my mind. Like, it's crazy. Mickey, I agree. And I know I'm not, Mickey, I agree. I agree. And I know we're not supposed to believe that. We're not supposed to think that. But I agree. That's how I would manage my life. The only way that I would hold someone to task is if we were in a relationship, like a full-on boyfriend and girlfriend relationship for a long time, and or married or something, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I don't want to have kids, and I'm like, I'm taking you to court. Listen, I'm sorry, I'm taking you to court. We've known each other for too long for you to come out with this nonsense. No, you paying child support. Anyways, so her and her family go to sleep because they're tired, and the next day they go to meet him, and she's talking about how fat she actually tells him, I'm fat, right? I'm fat. And he's like, you're pregnant. You're thicker in all the right places. And the production company asks, what are all the right places? And he says, the belly and the butt and the boobs or something like that. Like, he's like, it's fine. And she is so uncomfortable in her body. Her brain, like, this pregnancy is not good for her. It's not good for her at all. So the next morning they get onto his family's boat. He's really proud to show him what it is that they do on the boat, how they take the tourists out, how they show them the reef. He's with, I don't know if he's with siblings or cousins or whomever in the boat, but he's talking to all of the family because there's 4 women in front of him. He's talking to all of them. And we see Ariana kind of sulking in the background. And then they someone, not him, points out the resort he works at, the swingers resort. In her confessional, she says that she doesn't want to talk about the swingers resort because she doesn't want her family to really think about it. But she's the one who brings it up. And she makes some off the cuff comment about him, like, this is where you go to find the other woman you're sleeping with or something like that. She's like, no, just kidding. Oh. I'm just like, girl, that's an insecurity why you said that out loud. And then so the sister starts to go in on him about the resort and the rules. And he's like, you're not supposed to, but, some people do. And they're trying to entrap him. And the entire time, Ariana is sitting in the corner sulking, feeling bad because she's like, I don't want to hear him talk about the resort and how he's around all these hot women. And here, I had a friend who was constantly in her feelings about her weight. And it got to the point where I was like, I can't hang out with you anymore because I was smaller than her. And it was just like, I cannot be around you watching you hate yourself. Because for me, the way my brain works is, if I'm unhappy with something, then I change it. If I'm unhappy with something on my body, either I change it or I don't complain about it and I keep it inside and I don't let anybody know I have an insecurity about it. Because I just don't want to put that, I don't want to emotionally dump on somebody every time I'm with them and we're trying on clothes and I'm like, oh, I just don't look good in anything. Oh. And I get it. We're from the same generation where, like, you know, being thick growing up wasn't fun, wasn't a cute thing. And now it's like, I'm so happy for all the younger girls who are able to be thick and chunky and feel good about themselves, and at least better about themselves than when I was younger. But like, don't nobody want to hear all that. So if you're not feeling good about yourself, you can still work out. There's nothing stopping you from lifting weights. Listen, women, I see women all the time, big belly out to here in the gym, working out, eating good. And I get it. She's stressed out because she's about to be a single mom. So it's not the thing, but like, please don't do both. Don't complain about your weight and be like awkward and shit and come to Jamaica where you're in a bathing suit and then be like frustrated because people are talking about being at a resort. Like, it's too much for me personally. Like, it's just too much for me. I understand where she's at, but I hate, just like LaDana says, I hate the pity party. Don't do it. And he's sitting over there sulking. Like, he can't make you feel better. What can he do? What can he do to make her feel better? Absolutely nothing. The only thing he can do is do something crazy with saying, oh yes, I'm just going to leave my family here. I'm going to leave my whole life here and move with you to cold ass Illinois to help you raise this baby didn't nobody ask you to have. Like, it's so horrible. And I'm just like, poor girl. Poor girl. Like, I'm not saying that she needs to just like deal with it and be happy with it, but you can make choices to change it. Every day you can make a different choice. And if she's too stressed out to make that choice to go to the gym, to lift, to have that motivation to do so, then you just need to settle into the fact that you are going to get bigger, sis, because you're pregnant. And now you're going to have a terrible pregnancy because you're worried about being fat and you're worried about what this ugly man is doing. This man is not even cute. Okay, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Of all of the hot Jamaicans, of all of the how Stella got her groove backery you could have gotten involved in, this man, he looks like his skin is made of leather. He doesn't look 35. He looks 55. He looks a good 55. So like, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for you. Well, I am a little bit. Mickey says, I knew someone who hated their butt, but I didn't think she had a bad butt, but now I think about her, and I think only about her butt. Never tell what you don't like about yourself. It's too much. Like, it's too much. I have a friend and I have friends and acquaintances I can't be around because they don't fix their problems. And then every convo we have, they complain about it. I mean, this girl, now she's like healthy and doing her life. Hi, Jessie Lee, welcome. Hey there, Jasmine says, it's funny after all of these series and spinoff, this is the first time. First time what? Quasi says, or Mickey says, and here I am years later talking about that girl's butt. I'm the same way. Oh my God, Chris Farah. Girl, it's on Discovery Plus. It's cute. Watch it. I find it very entertaining. And it's only 45 minutes. So it's not going to take up all your life. And it drops Sunday at midnight. So you can watch it like Sunday when you wake up. The infamous Chris Farah is in the room. I just can't. Like, I can't be around that. I mean, my friend who did that to me was just like, I just was like, girl, I cannot with you anymore. She's like, and the girl wasn't even fat, girl. She was thick and she had a big ass. And I was just like, ma'am, I kept telling her, I was like, girl, you have a big ass. You're not fat. And she's like, well, for white people. I'm like, girl, then leave. Fuck them white men. Fuck them white men. It's because you want a white man. Fuck them white men. okay, who don't want you and your juicy booty, and get you a Mexican man. Get you a Latina. Get you a Latino. She was half, like, she was a quarter Mexican. So I'm like, it's not like you dating a Latino is like your family's gonna shun it. Like, that's your family. It's one thing if you were like raised in like Oklahoma and you brought home a Latino man and your family's gonna be weird about it. But girl, like, your family is from California. Your grandma was a Pachuca. Like, you'll be fine. Is it Pachuca? Is that the word? I don't know. But her grandmother was like whatever it was before being a chola. Like, so I'm like, just get you a Latino man. Stop fucking around with these white men who don't like your big ass. Like, leave me alone. She ended up marrying a white man, and he loves her big ass. But anyways, she had a fatty when it, like, and I was just like, girl, I would kill for your body. Like, you're not fat. Her butt was, I mean, you guys, I was like, yes, sis, this is what people buy. This is what people are paying for. That's such a beautiful ending, yeah. Oh, and she had her honeymoon, or he proposed to her in Belize. And I was like, oh, so happy for you. Anyways, so that's the story, you guys. And I feel bad for her because she's only 25 years old, so a lot of that's equating to this. Her family feels like they're entitled to get answers from Sherlin. And he's just like, listen, in Jamaica, we're relaxed. Everything is going to be fine. I'm not going to stress out about this. A baby's a baby's a baby. And like, I don't know if it's easier to take care of a child in another country, but it's a way of life in a way that is different from the US. And so, but people get pregnant all the time and have kids all the time, and no one's like stressed out running around. They're just like, you'll figure it out. That's the way all my cousins were. I'm like, what are you going to do? You don't have a job. And they're like, girl, I'm fine, live with my family. What am I going to do? I'm saying she's a real adult, but mentally, as far as I think where I was at 25, because I peaked so late in life, like 25 was, I might as well have been 15. I knew nothing, especially about relationships, about my body, about what I wanted, what I didn't want. Like, I didn't know anything at 25. Those people at 25 who know those things, I'm just like, who raised you? And can they tell me how they did it? Because not my experience. Being a late bloomer, like 25, what did I know at 25? She didn't have enough time with her new body. Yeah, Mickey, I think you're right. She did not have enough time to live in her new body. And so she feels just super uncomfortable and unattractive. And hearing him talk about the resort and how people sleep with the patrons at the resort and that's how they make their money. Listen, I'm just like, that is hard to hear. But also your sister is the one who's doing this. He didn't bring up the conversation. Your sister is doing this. So if you want your sister to stop asking him questions, just be like, Andy, let's talk about something else. Do that, but don't be sitting in the corner looking weird. You know what it is? It's also, I'm her, she's me, because I remember doing things like that too when I wanted a guy's affection, and instead of me just like demanding it, me trying to be like not obtuse in the corner, but like me just being like, okay, whatever, like I don't care, like it's cool, whatever, and then just like waiting for him to come up to me and acknowledge me so that I could feel like he wanted me. I don't have time for any of that now. I'm like, look, I want you to pay attention to me. And if that turns him off, well, then I guess we're both turned off then. like, I have to just tell people what it is I want from them instead of just like hoping that someone gives me what it is that I want. I'm telling you what I want. Like, it's the most grown-up thing you can do. It's the most grown-up thing you can do. Is just go over to him and be like, Sherlin, I want you to come over here and sit next to me, please. Instead of just like, he's trying to engage with your sisters because you brought them. You didn't have to bring them. If you wanted alone time with him, then you should not have brought them. But truth be told, maybe she didn't know that that's how she was going to feel. Because that's happened to me before, where I had a friend visit me and he was visiting all of us. And I kept getting frustrated because he was like talking to everybody else. And finally, at the end of it, he's like, I saw you were frustrated. He's like, now I know I need to just make time out for you. And I was like, yeah, I guess I know that too now. That I can't see you in a group. Like, I need to see you first by myself, or know that later on you and I are going to have like kiki time. Anyways, there's that. What did Chris say? If a man doesn't want to pay attention to me, then he will no longer get the opportunity and learn to rue the day. Yeah, I personally, to me, I'm just like, I need to tell him what I want so that I can get it out of the way and know, because I don't want to be frustrated because I didn't do my part. That's how I think of it for me. Well, I'm gonna set up a Jamal Turner and tell him I want his attention. Let you know how it goes. Yeah, definitely. Chris and I have a different like approach to this. Gives me like anxiety and nervousness, and I want to give them the opportunity, because I feel like a lot of times guys are dumb, and I just want you to get the opportunity and know what I expect. Because for me, a lot of times I'm obtuse and I don't know things, and there's expectations put on me that I'm supposed to know how to do something, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. My aunt had a whole stern conversation with me the other day because she says I don't call her. And I said, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. And she's like, well, it'd be nice to know that you're thinking of me. And I said, I do think of you. I think of you all the time. And she's like, well, it would be nice to know that if you could just like text me or call me or come and see me. And I'm like, well, girl, I didn't know. Now I know. So don't hold it against me. She's like, okay, fine. It was just like, now I know. And she's like, and I was like, but now you know that if you want something from someone, you should just tell them. And then she like side-eyed me and was like, I guess I'll tell you. I was like, great. Now we're on the same page. All right, you guys. I didn't think I was going to talk about this for over an hour, but I guess I did. That is the end of this. Lynn J. Girl, yes. I'm about to leave. Okay, I have a question. How do you guys, I notified everybody on Instagram and I notified it on YouTube. How do I get this out to you guys? Because I'm assuming that when I put up that I'm going to go live on StreamYard, that StreamYard sets it up on Instagram, on YouTube and Facebook. So how did you guys, if you guys can put in the comment section right now for me, how did you get notified that I was going live? Brazzle Dazzle, I've never seen your name ever in my life. Hello, welcome. Okay, so you guys are all getting it. Okay, YouTube. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, you guys. Okay, then they're doing it. Randomly checked out my YouTube alerts. Okay. I saw it on IG and Facebook. Okay, great. I saw it on Facebook and YouTube notifications. Okay, great. All right, so then it is working. All right, you guys. Well, I want to thank you guys for being in the room. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you, Amsterdam. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Tiana. And then Jessie Lee and Lynn J came in a little bit late. But thank you anyways for just joining. I appreciate it. Oh, you changed your name? What was your name before? Brazzle Dazzle? Y'all be over here changing your names? Oh, LaDana B, thank you. Is it LaDana or LaDonna? Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for coming in and moderating. I appreciate it. The creative cutie is singing. Thumbs, 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 thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. How is the baby project going? Okay, it's going. My doctor told me that I can start the process in October. So I'm just waiting for October. As far as saving up the monies, any Cash App, I don't pull it out of my Cash App. Any Venmo, it stays in my Venmo account. And then any YouTube monies that I make, it goes into my savings account. So yeah, it's stacking up slowly but surely. I'm gonna have to do some other kind of financial maneuverings probably at the end of it, but I haven't put that much energy into the other channel to build it up and stuff just because I haven't had the time. So that's why I'm kind of going hard right now with these lives, because I need to, it's getting closer to October. And so I'm like, I need to get it extra a little bit more funds. But honestly, I don't think my YouTube channel is ever going to get back to where it was. Not ever, but like, it's going to take a second because I slowed down so much in 2020. I lost a lot of my audience. Like my videos don't get as much views as they once did. Like 2018 and 19 were really good years for me financially from Google. But now that after I like couldn't post and I didn't post for most of 2020, it went all the way down in the Tubi tubes, the UB tubies. So I'm just trying to build it back up again. So there's that. Why October? Because she said that that was enough time that my uterus probably was better healed. Not better healed, but like, because I got the surgery in February. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So it's 8 months after surgery. The fertility doctor initially told me, oh, thank you so much, Saraya. So I was initially told that I was going to have to wait a year in order to start. So I would have had to wait until February to start the process. But the doctor says that because the ramp up to actually getting injected or, you know, going through the process takes longer, that I could actually start the process in October. So in October is when I'm going to go back to the fertility specialist to get done more tests to see if I can carry. So that's how they found out about my fibroids to begin with, is that I went to the fertility specialist and they did an exam, which the name of it escapes me. And they shot up some like blue liquid into my uterus to see if my fallopian tubes were clear. And that's when they were like, no, your left fallopian tube is not clear. And it looks like your uterus is shaped like a crazy person. And so I was like, oh, so then after that, they were like, well, you need to get an ultrasound. So then they did the ultrasound and the doctor was like, you are bleeding way too much. This is not right. You need a MRI. So then I went and had an MRI, and that's when they were like, your uterus fucking looks crazy. It's way misshapen. So then I had the surgery where it was basically reconstructive surgery to make my uterus back. And honestly, I don't know that I'm still healed, because after I wake up, like my bladder runs up against, like, your bladder is behind your uterus. And after I have to, like, the whole night, if I have to use the bathroom and I wake up and use the bathroom, I literally feel my uterus and it's sore. And it's crazy because I've never felt my uterus in my entire life, except for the times I had cramps. And like, I can feel it's being sore. Sometimes I push on like my belly and I'm like, ow, I can feel my uterus sore in there. So like, girl, I'm actually a little worried that they're going to tell me that I won't be able to carry because my uterus is just like, if it expands, then it's like not going to be good. And I imagine like if I did get pregnant, girl, it would hurt to expand. Monica asks, what traits are you going to shop for in the sperm catalog? I would like somebody tall. I would like a Black man. He could be of any like culture. So there not that many African Americans like that I've seen in the one I looked at. It was more so like Nigerians and Jamaicans. Is actually what I found, a lot of Black men. But that was not a year ago, but that was a while ago. So because, you know, the same man doesn't continue to give sperm, usually they run out sometimes. So I haven't looked because there's no point in looking until I'm actually ready for me. Thank you for sending the positives my way. Don't speak that out loud. See, I don't believe in that. That's the thing. I believe in speaking it out loud so I recognize it as a viable option. And then if it were to be the truth, I'd be able to be like, okay, I thought of that. So yeah, so I mean, the only issue is that I don't know anything about Nigerian culture, and I don't know that much about Jamaican culture. So it's like I don't know. The hardest thing is for me to think about like what I would actually do. Yeah, I have to mentally prepare for stuff. If I don't, it'll break me if I hadn't thought about it. It's just the way I think. It's just the way my body, I work. Do they show the pictures of the guys or just descriptions? How about education? They show the picture of them as a baby. Monica! Oh my God! Thank you so much! Oh my God, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate it. Monica, girl, this makes like let's see. I'm sorry, I was in the middle of answering somebody's question. Monica, thank you so much. You're so kind. So they show the baby photos of the kid of the person. They do a little description about them, and then they do talk about their education. Now, the plan I have is like the basic one where I think I paid like $100 for a year. If I went up to the next plan, I could get like a personal letter from them. I could get adult pictures of them, and I could also like pay for extra testing or something. Like they do some kind of genealogy test, not genealogy, but something to see if there was like a specific gene that could interact with my genes and create like something not the best in the baby. So. Oh, I can't see the super sticker from my from my view right now. So thank you so much. Yeah, they'll give you adult pictures too. Also, sometimes they have letters from the guy who like say why they want to do this thing. It's a lot. The guys themselves, because they get paid for it and they don't want anybody just like being crazy, they like go through a lot of screening and make them like fill out essays and answer questions and do all that. You can have access to all that if you pay a certain amount. So some of them say that they'll be willing to have contact with the child after 18 years. So some of them don't. So I could choose either or. And I think at this time I would choose the ones who would like to have contact. Yeah, it's harder because we live in such a technological time period, and it's not like the 80s where I could just be at a random bar and like get pregnant and go about my business and this, whatever. Like, I was kind of doing some research about people who like didn't know who their parents were and how they like went to the ends of the earth to figure out who because not knowing certain side of their family was causing them stress or strife, and I don't want that. So in my mind I'm like, my family's enough, we're all enough, you're fine. But that's coming from a place of privilege where I know my other side of the family. So I think that I would try to do all that to give them that information after 18, and then they can do the research themselves. I don't think I need to see a man. Monica says, yes, choose the ones to open to contact. Never know if the child might need a spare part. Yeah, but also if they just want to like, yeah, you can always leave it up to the child when they get a certain age. My sister did that. My child contacted our family when he was 19. The child contacted our family. Oh, okay. That's great. Why you looked at the full picture and the downstream impact. Yeah, I had to think of everything, try to think of everything, because it's going to be a completely different situation than what I grew up in, right? I know both sides of my family, 2-parent household. In my mind, everything's going to be fine, but like I don't know what it's like to not have that. And some people are super affected by it, and some people are not. And I can't guarantee that my kid will be fine, Yep, I longed for my dad, so I couldn't imagine my child not having the opportunity to know their dad. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. All right. That's the end of this, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your chit-chat conversation afterwards. I like questions like that. And I will see you guys next week sometime, most likely on Thursday for Say What with Juan and Chris. If you have any suggestions about anything you'd like to hear us talk about, please go ahead and email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com. If you're interested in any of my social media platforms, go ahead and follow me on TikTok at Just Call Me Wa. You can follow me on Instagram at Just Call Me Wa. You can follow me on Facebook at Just Call Me Wa. You can follow me on Snapchat at Wicked Wa. no H on the wall. But yeah, everybody in Europe, good night. Everybody on the East Coast, good night. 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, early evening. Have a good lunch. I hope you guys enjoy 90 Day Fiancé that is coming out today. And go and watch on Discovery Plus Love in Paradise. And if you want to watch the Darcy sisters, the Stacey and Darcy, their storyline is really interesting. But I'm here for all the makeup and the hair. And oh, Gabby, if you're watching this, I did see those little tracks. You guys, remember we were talking about the little like glue-in things that Lisa had from Love After Lockup? Darcy has them too. And you see them in the very first episode, her and Stacey, when they have their hair in a ponytail, they just have like implants or whatever. The Silva sisters, yeah. Chris is going to go live. So she's going to talk. She's watching 90 Day Fiancé now. She's going to go live. So Chris is going to go live probably like, I don't want to say when Chris is going to do anything because I don't know her life. But anyways, she can say when she thinks she might be going live on this one if she wants to do that right now. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.